we're asked to write down the possible function for each of the following graphs. Looking at this first graph in example 1, we might think of this as being a sinusoidal wave. A sinusoidal wave could either be a sine of an angle or the cos of an angle. Because this one here starts up here with a value of 2, rather than starting at 0, we would think of cosine as being the more likely option here. And see, it goes down to a -2. So the questions we'd be interested would be, we'd think about the shape of the curve. I might think about the range of the curve. And we would think about the period. And all these will give clues to what the answer might be. So on the course, we could have functions, let's call this function f, for instance. So we could have a function f of x is equal to, since we identified that this here is a cosine shape, cosine of an angle, we could have a plus b times cosine some multiple of an angle. So this is everything that could be asked on the course, I suppose. So it's going to look something like this. This here is to do, the A here is to do about a shifting. That means, what line is the curve symmetrical about? That's a horizontal line. We see this one here, the horizontal line that this curve goes up and down around is the line 0. So there is no shift in this. This is a normal, very average, like a normal cosine curve. So I'm expecting the shift here is 0 in this case. So A is 0 in this. That's one thing. The B here, this is a multiplier, and this is to do with the range. The range in this example here goes from 2 to -2. So the high points along here are 2. It's bouncing around between 2, and the low points here are -2. That's the range in outputs of this function. This is twice what you would expect for a normal cosine function. So this means my multiplier here is 2. We've already decided that this is a cosine function, and the period is given here. This is relating to the period. We see that this particular curve does a complete cycle, starts at this high point and comes back around to that high point, about to the same thing every 90 degrees. So we see 2 complete waves happen in 180 degrees. So the period of this function here is 90 degrees. Okay. How this relates to the multiplier here is 90 degrees, I suppose, compared to what we would expect. Normally we'd expect 360 degrees with what a normal period is, but this period is happening 4 times quicker. So 90 degrees, I suppose, as a fraction of 360, 90 degrees is 360 degrees divided by 4. So the period is happening 4 times quicker. So that's what my multiple here is. C is 4. It's because the frequency has been increased by a factor of 4. So to get the period, we'd divide 360 by 4 would get the period. So my C value is 4. So putting it all together, the function in this here, f of x, is equal to 2 times cosine 4. Give it a call the angle x here because it's using x in this picture here. And that's the name of this function here.